Hello, so today I'm looking at flowers for home delivery. We're not really supposed to go out at the moment unless it's essential, and yeah, I just found it quite difficult to get hold of plant materials. So I contacted the local wholesalers, and they didn't really, I think they had 70 or 80 items on their availability list, and only two of them were British. And anyway, so I thought that was a bit disappointing. So I've been sort of trailing around, and I've placed two orders this week for home delivery, and the first one's come this morning. So I'm just gonna open the box and see what's inside. And it's this is British, a mixed box of British flowers. So I'm gonna open that and have a look what's inside. So here it is. Here's the first parcel's arrived. It's from the Great British Florist, and it's a mixed box for £45, including delivery. And they did say at the time that if there wasn't British flowers available, that they would supplement it with imported flowers. So anyway, let's have a look what we've got. Oh, so there we are. That looks. Oh, it's nicely tied at the bottom. It's made into a little sort of a spray there. So that's quite nice. So what have we got in here? Now, that looks like Solidago or something. I remember seeing that down at the graveyards earlier in the week. But what bothered me about it was that they said there would be foliage in it. There isn't a lot of foliage, which I'm quite relieved about because we've got that in the garden. So there's looks like a bit of sort of eucalyptusy thing there. And this is what I suppose it's got red roses in it. Well, that's obviously not British. Roses aren't. Statice isn't. The hypericum isn't British. And tulips and some daffodils and some stocks. So really, I'll open it out. But I'm quite surprised at how much has gone into this that isn't British, really, because you know, I for £45, it's probably not a bad price, is my initial thoughts. But we'll take it out and have a look. But if you can, yeah. Anyway, I would have expected maybe mainly sort of spring bulbs and things like that, and blossoms. I don't know, but anyway, so we'll have a look now and take it out and see what the ingredients are. Right, so here it all is set out on the table, and I must just say it came in a nice box, upright, and it's a busy time of year at the moment. It's Mother's Day in the UK, in a couple of days, and they dispatched it very promptly, and it was nicely packaged, and some of the things are looking a little bit sad, but I think, given that it's got come through the post, I think they did very well with the freshness and the delivery. Now, the first thing that I would say about this is with the colours that. I've tried to group them together in colours, but it is a complete hodgepodge of different colours. And, I know we're sort of supposed to be taking what's available and in season, but if you were wanting to do a design, it is. You're going to have there's some sort of bluey purple things here I've grouped together, and then there's sort of orangey reds here, and I've put together these sort of yellow and whites there. So really, you'd if you wanted to do a really nice bouquet with this, you'd have to do three separate bouquets, and yeah, I think you'd need to get some extra plant material with that. So for me, that's not great. If you want to do something really creative, I suppose you could sort of plonk them all in jam jars in separate colours, but that's that's a bit of a limiting factor, that you're not going to be able to tie this together and make it into a really stunning, beautiful bouquet. And bear in mind, this cost £45. So there's that. Now, and also I would say just about the stem length, that I've said, and I do say it's very important that we use plant material with short stems. And I'm just looking at this, like some of this has got very short stems, so I'm happy to work with that. That's fine. That's good. But in terms of the price, that's you wouldn't buy that if you went up to Covent Garden Market. That you wouldn't get that. They wouldn't sell that. That would be considered something that isn't saleable. So I think you've got to look at the cost here. There's some things here, on nice big long stems, but some of the stem length is quite short, given that we paid £45 for it. So if I just go through what there is, so this is Grisellinia there, some nice Grisellinia. Probably I grow it in the garden, so that probably is British. I think that is Solidago. That's not, as far as I'm aware, that's not British. And we've got 10 daffodils there, and I'll talk about the cost of that later, but I mean, you can get 10 daffodils every street corner for 10 daffodils for £1 everywhere you go. So it's, don't really need to buy, get, I don't really need those there. And there were two hyacinths there. Again, if you bought that, it's not really very, I'm quite happy to use it if it's locally grown and that, but that's not a premium hyacinth. This would just be thrown out. It wouldn't get through the wholesalers. So I think you've got to bear that in mind with the cost. So there's a nice stock there, nice scented stock, lovely fragrance, 4 tulips, and again we can get tulips at the end of the road. Now I don't know if these are British or not, but I got these ones here. That was 24 stems for £7. So we've got these 4 here. Colours don't really go, and then there's some roses there. So we're going into a different colour palette here with reds and oranges, and then there's this pink Hypericum. That's definitely not British. The roses aren't British. Statice, that's very nice. I like that we can dry that, but obviously that's not British. And there's this lovely Limonium. I mean, I really like that. That's really nice. That nice filler, and that doesn't need water, so that's a really nice thing. But definitely not British. I don't actually know what this thing is called, but it's very lovely. Really appreciate it. Lovely, but don't think that's British. And then there's these asters. They flower in the autumn here, so I don't know where they've come from. I wonder if, but they're not. I don't. Yeah, they flower. They're an autumn flowering plant, so I wonder if that's come from the southern hemisphere. And then there's the eucalyptus there, so lovely 3 stems of eucalyptus, beautiful eucalyptus, and hopefully that is British eucalyptus, because we can grow that. So a nice big selection of plants there, but I'm wondering what on earth I'm going to be able to do with it. And so really I've got to come on to the cost here, because all this lot with the postage, this was £45, and I did a stem count, and there were 32 stems for £45. Now, if you take out the daffodils, which I could have got at the end of the road, so you've got 10 stems there. These are only worth £1. These are every supermarket in the country is selling 10 of these for £1, British daffodils. So I think it's a bit cheeky, really, unless they're only charges around. So if you exclude the daffodils, you're actually getting 22 stems for £44, which works out at an average of £2 per stem, which is really expensive. And I would say very little of that is British. And, £2 for for really some very poor quality things, like paying £2 for that's not very good, and really I think that is really, really expensive, given that most of it isn't British, and it's a hodgepodge of colours that I can't really do anything with, and some of it is poor quality, really, that you wouldn't get in a bouquet. I think that is quite expensive. So rather a lot of money. So really, for £45, you could just go to a local florist shop or an online, florist, and get a lovely big mixed bouquet for £45, and it wouldn't, it'd be no more or less British, really, I shouldn't think, than this is, really. So I think with this, I would have been better off going to like Marks and Spencer's or Waitrose or somewhere like that and just buying a £45 bouquet. So I've got some more stuff coming in a couple of days, and we'll do a little comparison. But I have to say, I think that's rather disappointing. And yeah, for £45. I would have rather say gone to the wholesalers and just bought, say, you know, just sort of five different things or something. But yeah, quite disappointed with that. I think that's very expensive, £2 a stem. That is, and it's not arranged. You could do much better than that, I think. So anyway, that was Great British Forest, and we'll have a look at something else late from the supermarkets later in the week. Hello, so welcome back, and it's Mother's Day today in the UK on the 14th of March, and I've had another load of fresh flowers delivered. They came last night, and these came from one of our major supermarket chains, Sainsbury's. And what I really liked about it was that I could amend the order up to 11 p.m. the night before, and I had a time delivery slot, and when they arrived I had the option that if I didn't want any of the stuff, I could return it to the driver then and there. I didn't have to take it, and so there was much more transparency about what I was getting, and and I had that opportunity to sort of look at it and decide whether I wanted it or not. So anyway, let's have a look at what came. So here it is. Here is the Sainsbury's delivery, and this came to £28.50, including. No, sorry, £38.50, including delivery. And so really big bucket of flowers here for the money. And there's Alstroemeria, Lisianthus, 30 roses, some mixed chrysanthemums, some gyp, and some tulips. And I'm assuming that none of this is British, but when I got the consignment from Great British Florist, I don't think any of that was British either. And at Sainsbury's, they did have two lots of British daffodils, which I could have bought, and they had sort of tulips and hyacinths and things like that. So really, it's just as British, or no more or less British, I don't particularly think, than the Great British Florist. So anyway, we'll open these up in a minute and have a look what was in there. But just if you compare the two buckets, the one on the left, so this was the consignment from Great British Florist for £48, and on the right, Sainsbury's for £38.50. And I mean, you're just getting a huge quantity of flowers for the money. So we'll take those out the wraps and do a stem count now and see exactly a little bit more about what we've got for our money. Right, so here is the Sainsbury's consignment out on the table. So good quantity of blooms there. And so here we've got some Alstroemeria mixed colours. Now this does look a little bit sad. It looks like it's going over a bit. So 10 Alstroemeria for £5. Then I got some pink Lisianthus there. Again, it looks a little, some of the blooms are looking a little bit sad, and I'm not sure if these buds are going to open. But that was £4.50 there for £5. I think this was the best of the lot, this mixed bouquet, and it's got chrysanths, and it looks like a gerbera, a rose, a carnation, and a little bit of foliage. So that was only £5. But again, these blooms do look a little bit. Oh, that's broken off. They do look a bit sad. They're sort of kind of going, not very fresh really. They're going off. So there's some gyp there, £2. I've got some tulips there, 8 tulips. For £2.50, and then this bunch of roses, 30 roses for £10. That's a really good price. I mean, a couple of them have broken off. Again, looking at them, they do look like they're going over. Yeah, they look like they're not very fresh really. And I suppose if I bought them in the shop, I'd be able to look at that and decide. But and it is Mother's Day today, so maybe that was a contributing factor. So anyway, all in all, there's the stem count there. There's 66 stems there for £38.50, which works out at 58p a stem. And so going back to Great British Florists here, these were worked out at £2 a stem, compared to these for like 50p a stem. So actually, these ones were 4 times more expensive, and then they're not. I'm going to say they're not really British, and for the money, uh, yeah, there's um, 22 stems here, excluding the daffodils, whereas I got 66 stems from Sainsbury's. So Sainsbury's is much better value, although they do look like they're going over a bit now. So what I would say about this with Great British Florist is that they're not British, and there are British growers. You can get daffodils, narcissus, tulips, anemones, ranunculus, pussy willow, spring blossom. There's lots of British stuff about, and they're saying, well, we can't get hold of it. You have to have imported stuff. Well, there are British growers that are doing really good stuff. So I do think that that's sort of misleading the public, really, to say that that is representing the best of what's available at the moment. And yeah, so Sainsbury's, you get a lot, but I would think I would want to see that in the shop before I bought it. And just also to say, if I wanted to do something really beautiful and creative, it's going to be a bit tricky. It some of this stuff looks quite sort of cheap and trashy, and to try and make a really good quality bouquet out of this is going to be really difficult. Um, um, so anyway, I think a bit more research is needed. So this will make a big bunch of flowers for Mother's Day, but really, quite disappointed really at the quality from Sainsbury's. You get a lot of flowers for your money, but the quality really isn't very good. And yeah, these Great British Florist ones, well, they're not really, they're not British. So anyway, I'll try and put them together into something. But yeah, a bit disappointed, a bit more work to do. So we'll have another go next week and see what else we can get. And I'll leave below somewhere on the website or down below. I'll leave details of what the different some more details of what the plant material is. So anyway, I hope you found that interesting. So home delivery, fresh cut flowers for Mother's Day.